Hello and welcome to Warp Factor Unknown, the podcast where we delve into the world of Star Trek for an unpredictable rewatch and discussion. I'm your host Dan, and joining me today is the always ready for warp, Tom.
Fantastic to be here as usual.
Today, we are discussing Star Trek Enterprise. The episode is called Awakening, and that is from Season 4, Episode 8. Hopefully you've all watched the episode along with us. But if not, we have a synopsis breakdown for you. We're going to do this in an A plot and then a B plot kind of thing. Hopefully it makes sense. To give us this rundown, I present to you Tom.
A plot. Previously on Earth Embassy attack. Archer on the case. Vulcans not helpful. Captain Archer and T'Pol are captured by the Sirenites, a group of Vulcan dissidents. After being imprisoned, T'Pol tries and fails a risky Vulcan mind meld to remove Surak's Katra essence, which is currently in Archer, and who receives visions and guidance from Surak. With this new insight, Archer locates the Kirshana, an ancient Vulcan artifact that contains Surak's original teachings. T'Pol's mother, Tellez, is a member of the Sirenites, further complicating the encounter. The High Command, led by Administrator Velaz, is determined to obliterate the Sirenites and maintain its control over Vulcan society. Despite numerous challenges, including evading the High Command's attacks, Archer and T'Pol manage to escape with the Kirshana, aiming to bring about a significant transformation in Vulcan society by revealing the true teachings of Surak. Very few, if any, Sirenites survive the onslaught, including Tellez. B-plot. Aboard the Enterprise, Commander Tucker faces escalating tensions as the Vulcan High Command orders an attack on the ship. Ambassador Saval, who has become disillusioned with the High Command's aggressive tactics, assists Tucker in defending the Enterprise and preventing a full-scale conflict. Saval provides crucial intelligence and support, helping to navigate the delicate political situation. Meanwhile, Tucker has to balance the immediate threat to his ship with the broader implications of Velaz's actions, which could ignite a war with the Andorians.
Now Tom, before we talk about Star Trek Enterprise, I would like to talk just something completely off topic, but still Star Trek.
Sure.
As you know, I have watched all Star Trek.
Mm.
At least I thought I had watched all Star Trek. I recently discovered I have not in fact watched all Star Trek.
Huh.
Much to my surprise.
Episodes or season or...
A whole half a season.
Of...
Star Trek Prodigy.
Really?
And how could I miss
But has that not just come out?
Season 1.
I see,
so
yes.
I had missed the second half of Season 1 of Prodigy. And I know why this is. Season 2 came out. Me and my partner watched the first episode, and we were both like, well, I don't remember any of this. What's going on?
Yeah.
I was so confused. So I went back and I looked at the little episode descriptions on Netflix of all the Season 1 episodes. I was like, yep, know that. And I was like, oh, don't remember this. Don't remember that. What's going on here? And we've been rewatching Season 1, and it turns out Episode 10 of Season 1 Prodigy, it's basically a season final. So I think what happened was, we originally watched it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And we watched episode 10, assumed that was it, and then we must have just cancelled our Paramount Plus subscription and gone to another service, as we want to do. We tend to skip around streaming services, and then just didn't realise we'd missed a whole half season until now. And
now you have season 2 out as well.
so we've got a whole season and a half, and I was like, that's crazy. I've always sort of thought that I'd seen all Star Trek, but no, missed it. And the second half of season 1 it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. It's got some really good episodes. It's kind of great to have some unknown Star Trek to watch.
Yeah.
Which actually leads me to another off-topic but kind of related thought. You know Madeline, who was a guest on this podcast, episode 5, I think it was. She does, I don't know if you know this, she does quite a unique thing when it comes to, I don't think it's just Star Trek, I think it's TV that she loves. She will intentionally skip episodes. I know, exactly, right?
Yeah.
For example, with TNG, she has an amount of episodes that she has never watched. And that is on purpose. I think when she watches through like TNG, she'll skip an episode or two.
Yeah.
And I know that she definitely hasn't seen the last season of DS9. And I assume she's done the same with Voyager. It's probably the same with other shows she watches too. Do you know why she does that?
I have no idea.
I think it's actually kind of cool.
If I was to guess, it would be so when she comes back to it or revisits it, it's still fresh because she still has content unwatched.
That's basically it. She likes the idea of always having more to watch if she wants to. Of a show she loves, there's always something new. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Imagine, like, you know, if you've been a fan of Star Trek or TNG for 20, 30 years, whatever it is, and you know that you've got 5 episodes you've never watched. Might be good, might be bad, who knows? That's kind of cool. Like, if you're having like a rough day or just in that right mood, you can bring out a brand new episode of TNG.
Yeah.
How cool's that?
I mean, that might work for her. For myself, my memory's so bad that I forget that I've watched an episode sometimes anyway. When I go back to it, I'm like, it's like a fresh episode anyway. Yeah. But I guess if you are a person that remembers a lot of things and you want to keep things as fresh as possible, then that's a good thing to do.
Sort of ties in nicely to this episode we've watched today, The Awakening of Enterprise. I haven't seen Enterprise. I'm going to rewatch in quite a while. 6, 7, 8 years, maybe. Quite a long time. And I didn't remember this episode at all. And so when we selected the episode, I didn't realise it was a 3-parter. I knew it was part of a longer story arc, but I thought it was like a season-long story arc. So when I watched, I was like, oh, this is actually like a 3-parter. And I considered texting you, like, oh, hey, should we watch all 3 parts? But I thought against it. I was like, no, 3 episodes is quite long. We agreed we'd watch 2-parters. We knew we would sort of leave long story arcs, just will go in randomly. But it was a bit unclear about 3-parters. So I figured, we'll test it out. We'll try on 3-parters. Because this was a 3-parter, and this is episode 2 of that 3-part series, and because I hadn't seen Enterprise in the longest time, I was essentially also kind of going in blind, and I got that feeling. I was like, this must be what Tom feels like when we watch Discovery.
All the time, actually, not just Discovery. Like, what is this? What's going on? So
I kind of enjoyed it for that aspect because I had no idea what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
How did you find just watching episode 2 of 3?
Yeah, I was missing some important beginning elements, like what's going on here, why are they on this planet, who are these people?
Yeah.
I knew they were Vulcans. Which is a good start point, yes. Which, you know, I thought, the acting's a bit wooden. No, it's not. It's actually how Vulcans act. They are emotionless, or they have good control of their emotions, I should say. But no, I really, really liked it. I thought the episode was liked all the little drama and that absolute idiot guy that's the high command.
Isn't he just like, you want to shake him?
I just want to shake him. I was like, you're such an idiot. But I liked not knowing everything, and I think him going to this planet and then seeing the people that are on there trying to... It was just good. Yeah, there's still a lot I don't understand, which is why I would like to watch episode 1, episode 3, and probably all the other episodes of Enterprise leading up to this point, because I've seen a few episodes of season 1, and that is pretty much it.
Enterprise, I think I mentioned previously that I think it does a really good job with the Vulcans. It basically makes them the antagonist for the series. I think that's such a cool idea. And one of the things they do is you sort of see Vulcan as like an evolving society. And one of the things they do is that mind melds are outlawed and they're taboo. If you do them, you're shunned from society. And it mentioned a little bit of this episode about at the very beginning when Ambassador Saval is in front of a high command and he's being dismissed from his Vulcan service, and they say, we didn't know you was a meld, and he's like, well, if I told you, my life would have been over anyway, so you kind of have to keep it secret. And that story thread comes back a few times in Enterprise, and it's really good.
So why was it outlawed?
Good question. I think I don't know.
I guess it is quite invasive.
It's quite invasive. It's probably quite an emotional experience.
Yeah.
So maybe Vulcans shun it because of that.
Possibly.
Anyway, before we get too deep into the episode, this episode is directed by none other than Roxanne Dawson. otherwise known as B'Elanna Torres from
Yes.
Star Trek Voyager.
Fantastic.
And I knew she'd had some directing credits, and I knew she directed some Voyager episodes.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that she's another one of those examples of someone from Star Trek cast who sort of went through the school of directing while working on Star Trek, and it's carried on later in her life. And watching TV, I occasionally see her name come up as a director. I'm like, cool. I'm glad she's got work and she's still doing stuff. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
It's like when it's normally when you watch Star Trek, you see Jonathan Frakes come up directing, like, there he is, my man.
Very good director of episodes. He's done some good ones.
Yeah, he's good, yeah. Right, okay, I've got always a bunch of notes. Go through. Actually, my notes this time pretty scrambled and sort of all over the place.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I can see right now a lot of spelling mistakes.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because my thoughts are also scrambled, so it'll be good to sort of dig in wherever. Yeah.
Okay. In the previously on section, the catalyst for this episode arc is Earth's embassy has been destroyed.
Yes.
I'm not quite clear where it is. I assume the embassy is on Vulcan. That's my assumption.
Yeah.
But it has like an exterior shot of it, and it looks like a model. I'm like, it looks really good. I don't think it's a CG asset. I think it's an actual physical model. It looks pretty good. I'm like,
yeah,
I like that. It's good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
If you like miniatures and modelling and stuff.
I thought the special effects in this episode were really good. Apart with one exception. I think they're flying over the planet and
the shuttle?
They're getting some turbulence.
Yeah.
And I just was reminded of this game from my, when I was growing up, F-Zero, when they're racing in the, sort of the speed crash. And it was the only part of the episode I was like, wow, that's not aged well. The rest of it I thought was really good. Do you mean the
interior shots or the exterior shots?
Exterior.
Right, yeah.
Outside of the shuttle when they're experiencing turbulence over the surface of the planet.
Yeah. Clearly CG, isn't it?
Yeah. But apart from that, I thought, no, it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to keep that scene. We don't do these episodes in any kind of particular order, but this is toward the end, obviously. In that scene, they get like some disruption or something, and Malcolm Reed, the security guy, says, the targeting scanners are offline. It'll be tricky to shoot them, or something to that effect. And then Mayweather, the pilot, does a cool little loopy-loop, brings him around the back, and then you see laser beam, everyone hits. And I'm like, well, for manual targeting, you did it right, actually.
That's not bad.
That's actually not bad. You did pretty good. I kind of felt like miss.
Yeah,
and one,
just one hits.
Yeah, no, you just nailed it.
No, it pulls away every time.
Like dust off his shoulder sort of thing. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Moving on. And we're moving on to... It's been a long road.
Yes. The theme song, I have to say, is growing on me. I've heard it a few times now. I didn't like it the first time. And then I still didn't like it the second time and the third time. But that's slow. You start thinking, actually, it stands out as being different among Star Trek openings.
It's a joke at this point with Star Trek fans, is that someone will start watching Enterprise and they hate the theme tune. And they skip it every time. And then they go, that's all right. Yeah. But season 1, they skip it. Season 2, they're like, that's all right. Season 3, singing away, belting along. It's brilliant. The best thing ever created. Yeah, I love it. And exactly the same. Hated it to start with.
Yeah.
It just grows on you. It's weird how insidious that song is. And I have like a Spotify playlist of all my favourite songs. It's on there. Maybe occasionally, it will come up when I'm cooking away in the kitchen and sing along.
Because it is catchy.
It is catchy.
The more you watch it, you think, this does actually suit this series as a whole as well.
It does, because one of the big themes of the series is like an optimism from humanity. And that song embodies that. Like they're taking this next step. They're progressing against all odds. In the Cyrenite camp, when Archer and T'Pol get put in prison, little room. It's quite nice, actually, as far as a prison goes.
For prison, yeah.
It had candles and sconces.
Mood lighting.
Mood lighting.
I only noticed it was a prison because of the bars on the door. I was like, no, actually, if it wasn't for the bars, I've stayed in like
table in
Airbnbs and Premier Inns that are worse than that.
Yeah, it's almost like glamping, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
It was quite nice.
It looked good.
I kind of thought it was like a set direction, like a set piece. Like they could have tried to make it a bit grim, I suppose, because I guess I kind of thought of all that access to fire could have escaped. The doors wouldn't. They could have probably done something to get out of there. If they wanted to.
Oh, it's halfway comfy.
Don't have any cushions though.
No, that would be the thing you'd want. And also, I guess maybe they have got real cells for the real criminals, but this is like
we're not sure criminals.
Yeah, it's like a halfway cell.
They're also pacifists, so maybe they don't do harsh prison.
Maybe.
Yeah. As I'm going down my notes, I can just notice I've actually got a lot of notes and discussion things on just design and like how things look.
Yeah.
So I guess that's this podcast today. We're doing what Dan likes the look of in this episode of Star Trek.
It's good. There's a lot to pick out.
Okay. In Archer's ready room, now obviously he is not in there. There's a couple of scenes with Trip and Saval in there, and they have a little discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a small space. But on the wall, there's like 4 bits of artwork, and they're the spaceships you see in the opening credits. Like there's Cochrane's warp ship and the Enterprise and the NX-01.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of nice. They're like hand-drawn, pencil-drawn, little bits of artwork. They look quite nice. And I was like, it's like a very early form of that captain's souvenir wall that we're accustomed to seeing. Yeah, again, a lot of these designers is going to be, there's that nice thing I like the look of. It's good. Nothing more to say.
Yeah. But that's a good thing about Enterprise is that there are many throwbacks to things that will be more advanced in the future, like the evolution of how things progress up to...
Thank you for the segue.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on to that's great. That was a great segue.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly that. And I like how the Enterprise... So the class of ship is NX-01. I like how the NX-01 has lots of buttons, just like Kirk's Constitution class. And there's one shot of Hoshi, the communications officer, and on her little desk in front of her, there's little like cartridges. I don't know how much original series you've seen, but they have these cartridges. For the viewers at home, I'm holding up a coaster, a square coaster. They look like this. They just sort of like place them into the console, but like little tapes.
Yeah.
Because obviously back in the 60s, tapes, that's how you did
That's
portable storage.
Yeah.
And they have these in the NX-01. I was like, that's really cool. I like that. And they sort of carries over. And in other episodes, Hoshi has like a little earpiece, like Uhura does. Yeah, as you say, there's lots of little throwbacks.
Yeah.
I do quite like that.
It must have been quite fun making it because obviously Next Gen, DS9, Voyager, they're in a time when technology is so advanced that, holodecks are so realistic.
Yeah.
And, the technology is advanced to the point where you can talk to it and you can get it back. I mean, admittedly, we have that now with things, but Star Trek times back in the days when they were making it.
In Star Trek, they did have World War III, which we haven't yet had.
Yeah.
So we might regress a little bit.
Before this podcast go out, but
yeah. But they also have things like they don't have a holodeck on that starship.
No.
They do have a transporter, but it's naff.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think on like season 1, one of the early episodes, they say, "Oh yeah, this has just been rated to transport humans," and they're all like, "Nah, I don't know about that," and they're all very wary of it. It's kind of cool, and not shown in this episode, but we don't have a shuttle bay. The shuttle gets like lowered down like a little crane, and that's my favorite thing. They don't have a tractor beam. They have like a little grappling hook. It's like a little suction thing.
Do they have to wind it back?
Yeah, they fire a little cannon and like sucks onto things and they wind it in. It's stupid. Like, that's actually kind of great. Of like they have really sort of thought about the technology they can almost regress with this show.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. The Vulcan ships, the design of the Vulcan ships, they're always kind of like an orangey kind of tan colour, and they have the bigger ships that have these really big circular engine nacelle things.
Yeah.
I think they look really good. I really like that design of ship. I don't know what they're called, but again, Enterprise, you get quite a lot of shots of those Vulcan ships. Really good.
I presume they hadn't been in any other Star Trek shows or seasons, that particular design.
I don't recall seeing that ship, those Vulcan ships from Enterprise, but I guess it's easily explained away because in every other show, Enterprise is so far removed.
Yes.
So the design would have changed. And also, Vulcan becomes part of the Federation, and they just everyone just sort of uses Starfleet's ships. Okay, let's talk about this one a bit on the lighter side. Throughout the episode, we see Trip, Commander Tucker. He's like he's like left in charge of the ship.
Yeah.
While Archer's away. I think he's third in command after T'Pol. I think he might be second in command. Can't remember. And I was thinking of this episode. He's really good. I know some people actually. I don't know if it's a common consensus, but I know our dear friend Madeline doesn't like Trip. She's not a fan. But I really like him. I think he's a great character, and I like the silly accent he has.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's his real accent. But like the very like South American accent. I was like, he's really good in this episode. He's got good diplomacy. He's hiding his real interest. The crew
doesn't back down.
Doesn't back down.
Which is good.
All the crew trust him. He makes a decision. He seems decisive. And I was thinking, I was like, I totally could have seen him in another show, like a spin-off show, is Captain Tucker. Yeah, I really could have seen that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame the Enterprise got cut off so soon. And we don't do spoilers on this show, but Tom, spoiler, he dies. Huh. I know. I'm sorry to break that to you. Wow. My show's over 20 years old, so...
Just getting attached, but no, that's fine.
No, but he's really good, and like his story up there is really good. Him dying is a bit contentious among fans, I think. But yeah, so it's kind of a shame that's where Enterprise sort of finished, unfortunately.
It's a shame, because he could have, I mean, even within that show, become captain, something could have happened to Archer, and a bit like Discovery. I guess they've had different captains, haven't they?
They do, yeah.
So you don't need to stick to one captain for God knows how many seasons. You can switch. No, they decided to kill him instead.
Started ruining it for you.
Yeah.
Actually, one episode, I might be like 1 or 2 episodes, I think it's in season 4, they bring out another starship. Because the Enterprise in this series is like Earth's first Warp 5 ship. The best one, the only one. All the other ones are naff. They go like Warp 2. They're really crap.
Yeah.
So this is like the flagship. So by season 4, they built a second. And he goes and joins that one as their chief engineer. Mm-hmm. He ends up coming back, but see, he does. He could have branched out a bit. It could have, Okay, let's talk about the Vulcan High Command and those bitchy men.
Yeah.
Those grumpy old men.
That was actually my favourite part of the episode.
Please go.
Because the Vulcan guy in charge, the Vulcan
I don't know
High Commander, he is just such an idiot. And I like the fact that they were sort of standing up to him to an extent, saying, "You're overseeing a massacre, and you're doing all these things that are, this is wrong." But he's like, "No, I want to kill everyone, leave no survivors." And he seemed to even get more harsh as the episode went on, where it was,
he's really resolute in his...
wouldn't back down for anything.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed then him interacting with Trip, because it seems to be a back and forth of, "You must leave," and then Trip would go, "No, we're not leaving," and then a couple of minutes have passed with another scene, then they go back to these guys again, and be, "You must leave now." No, and then it just it kept going back to that extent, and I like that. I like a bit of stubbornness.
I agree. I love those scenes. But I did have a thing, because at one point Savol mentions, I think Trip asks, how did he get there? Savol, the ambassador, says, in Vulcan we promote people of merit, and he's obviously proven himself to be a very good administrator.
Yeah.
So I thought,
he's so good at being an asshole.
Yeah, is there no elections on Vulcan? Is this like a dictatorship almost? The other people in that room, they try and talk him down, but he refuses every time. And you think, well, that means there's no oversight. Nobody is, or basically got unchecked power.
Yeah.
And he has the ability to make political decisions, but also military decisions. He's commanding those starships to, level that desert. So I was like, I want to know more about the Vulcan political system.
Yeah.
Because I'm interesting like that.
There's some holes in that.
Yeah. So I really like that. And that whole kind of storyline, and I'm going to bring these points up, but I'm going to preface it by saying I've not seen Enterprise in quite a while. We only watched this one episode out of this whole story arc. So maybe I'm just misinterpreting a story plot or a theme. But I got certain elements that reminded me a little bit. Also, this preface is going to be my knowledge on early 2000s histories. Not great. I was younger then. I was still a kid. I got some what felt like comparisons between Vulcan and USA, particularly around the USA's involvement in the Middle East, and a bit later with its the NSA stuff. The whole bombing the terrorists in the desert without really understanding who they are or what's going on. There was also a bit where he's listening in, he's spying on Enterprise's communications with Earth, so listening into your allies' communications. And at the very end, there was, as Sval was saying, that he's not necessarily fabricated, but he's using to his advantage the potential for weapons of mass destruction on Andoria to start a war. And I was like, oh, that, like, some of those things sound a bit familiar.
Yeah.
If you know, I'm not saying it's like a direct tie to America, but also maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you get any of that?
Yeah, I was getting those vibes. I'm also not great with history of that time, even though I sort of grew up through it. I got sort of, weapons of mass destruction vibes, you know, when Bush said they have
them, yeah.
We must, you know, and they went and attacked this country, started
Strikes,
war.
yeah.
That's kind of like, how it was in this episode. They assumed they had something, or, you know, we must attack these people. It doesn't matter the cost. We must do this. And definitely some similarities.
And the whole bombing people in the desert. And I was like, well, you know, there was that did happen. Like, I'm not trying to say that the people that America targeted weren't all bad, but also a lot of them weren't bad. We have some very clear evidence that you know, innocent people, a lot of innocent people have died as a result. Not just America's intervention, Britain's too. Our involvement in the Middle East definitely led to some loss of civilian lives over atrocities. And like, maybe that's not what the writers were going for. Maybe they were not making those parallels. But looking back, like watching it now, you kind of think, oh well, you know. I don't know how old I've been at the time. Not very old. Not old enough to be sort of like that kind of like news aware or politically aware. I don't know how well known it was that America's claim of weapons of mass destruction were a bit dubious at best, to the point of possibly being straight up lies. I feel like if one of us knew more about that, we can have a really good conversation, but we don't. So I'm just pointing out, like, I think there's something there. I don't know what it is.
But if anyone does, please comment.
Please.
Found.
Okay, so I really enjoyed that part. Let's go for a slightly lighter thing. It's just a line that between Trip and Ambassador Sval on the bridge, and the Vulcans have just fired some warning shots at Enterprise, and he goes, "How many warning shots do Vulcans normally fire?" None.
Yeah.
And Sval's face is just great. I love it. I think that's fantastic. That's a really good line.
I like that too.
Also on other lighter bits as well. In the prison with T'Pol and Archer, they're talking about T'Pol trying to talk to Archer, saying that, have you really got that katra, that essence of Surak? That's basically crazy. And she does this whole thing about how the Vulcan Science Academy had studied some ancient things it may have had them in, and whenever Archer pulls out, the Vulcan Science Academy has been wrong before.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those little things that Enterprise, like a recurring little joke, little theme they pull out, that T'Pol will very often side with the Vulcan Science Academy, and they're always wrong.
Yeah.
It's quite good. I quite enjoy that. But she will not let it go.
No.
Like, science is science. Oh, another good callback in the episode. I can't quite remember where it was mentioned, but somebody, somewhere, mentions the Temple of Pajem. But that is like episode 3, 4, 5 of Enterprise. It's really early in season 1. And it is a great episode. It's probably one of the best ones.
Really, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think so. It just sort of sets up who the Vulcans are and who the Andorians are and how humans play into this sort of dynamic. The Vulcans and Andorians are at war. Maybe they're not at war at this point. They're not great friends. And the Andorians break into a sacred Vulcan temple on this planet, take hostages, and they're claiming that the Vulcans are using the temple to spy on Andoria. And the Vulcans are like, we're monks, we're priests. No.
Yeah.
And T'Pol's there, like, we got an Archer's there, and they're like, oh, we got to, because they always get taken hostage. They're, they're working with the Vulcans to try and, save the day. But then they discover that actually, no, the Andorians are correct, and underneath this temple is this massive spy facility.
Oh, wow.
And the Vulcans are actually spying on Andoria. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
And that episode keeps getting referred back to within Enterprise quite a lot, and yeah, it's obviously quite a fundamental episode.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm inspired after watching this episode.
Maybe we'll get it. Yeah,
we may well.
Okay, so the last sort of, like, I guess, thing we haven't really touched on this episode yet is Surak and what his whole deal is, his 1800-year-old ghost presence thing. I think it's kind of cool that you can kind of survive as a thought for nearly 2,000 years.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that we see, like, there's like a nuclear war going on, and that brings about a change in society that makes Vulcans better. Like, that's really cool. You go Vulcans.
Yeah.
That's good. It's kind of like what happens on Earth in Star Trek. They have World War III, and then the Federation rises out of the ashes. Humanity
so they
becomes...
make something better out of it.
Yeah, they do. That's really cool. And Surak's saying, Vulcans now have strayed from the path from his teachings, and he wants them to return to that. And I was like, yeah, I get that. That kind of makes sense, but surely that is kind of like an evolution, a societal evolution, that you can't just keep things the same. It's like quite a conservative kind of view. That makes sense.
Things must change.
Things must change. Even though where they currently have changed to is that douchebag of what it was called. Yeah. But maybe they'll get better again. Who knows?
Yeah. Yes, it's a terrible change. They got that guy in, but they will maybe learn from this. Maybe they won't feel emotions over this.
Yeah,
but they
he
will.
doesn't seem very self-reflective.
He doesn't.
No.
He doesn't see both sides of the.
No, he's not. He's not very logical, is he?
No, for a Vulcan, definitely not. Maybe he's not. I guess.
Yeah.
No, that's a stupid thing to say.
Oh, please say it.
Changelings haven't been introduced yet, have they?
They have not, no.
No, but maybe he's an early changeling.
No, but in Enterprise, there's lots of time travel and lots of genetic modifications.
So he's a time-travelling early changeling.
Yeah.
It's one possible
It's one possible
reason,
thing.
most likely
why
not,
he's an arsehole, yeah. Yeah.
He's such a massive arsehole
Yeah.
as well, yeah.
I said I was going to bring back up to Pow and how she was at Spock's wedding.
Yeah.
When I was making the notes for this episode, I was like, trying to get a list of names of who the characters are. And I found Pow and I Googled it. I was like, there she is. That's her. And it threw up a photo of the original series. It turns out, this is a character who turns up later on. She's much older.
Yeah.
And she presides over Spock's wedding. I was like, that's cool.
Continuity.
Continuity.
Yeah.
So go Star Trek. I had no idea who that was.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when the creators of a show do that because they obviously love it.
It shows they care a little. They've thought about it.
Yeah.
One last thing, and this is kind of like on that 3-part episode thing, is that it's a shame with episode 2 and episode 3 because episode 3 would have been a Shran episode. Do you know who Shran is?
No. Shran
is an Andorian. He's a blue man, and he's played by who's the actor in Star Trek who plays everyone? He plays the Vorta in DS9.
Oh, that guy.
What's he called?
Wayun. But I can't think what the guy's called.
I do know his name. That everyone knows who that is.
Yeah.
The guy who plays everything in Star Trek. He plays Shran. One of the best characters in all of Star Trek.
Really?
I promise you not. He's amazing. He's so good.
Yeah. Good guy, bad guy?
I'm going to say good guy. Occasionally bad guy, mostly a good guy.
Right.
At one point, he travels through a very dangerous bit of space to lend a hand to Archer just because he owes him a favour, and it's great. Shran's great, and they have the Andorians in the show. They have like antennae, and they move, and they're really cool. And when you like scowls, he goes. It's really cool. They're great. Yeah, so it's a shame we didn't get a Shran episode.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
We may still.
We may still at some point wrap this ramble up.
Yeah, I was just going to say when she saved the Dorito.
The Dorito,
the big triangle
thing. The MacGuffin, whatever it's called.
Yeah, what was that relation to?
Oh right, that is. I think I've only seen the other episodes. I think that is Surak's teachings.
I see.
So a Bible, I guess.
Triangular Bible.
A triangular Bible.
Yeah,
well, I guess when Archer went into the main room and he opened the door, he pressed some wall bits.
In a certain,
it's like he's playing Myst or something. You know?
Yeah.
I assume you do the same thing on the big triangle Dorito, and you get.
I see.
It like expands out in some nice graphics, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
Or you mind meld with it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah. My mind to your angles.
Your rock, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, should we wrap up this ramble?
Yes, I think so.
Overall, really liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed the Vulcan Council stuff, and I liked Trip stuff. I was a little bit less engaged with Archer and T'Pol and their thing. And I think that's mostly because missing so much context of what they're doing and why they're doing it. One of the problems I have with this episode, and it's not the episode's fault, it's kind of our fault. I think when we watch like Discovery or Picard or something, and we're going like a long story arc, it's kind of fun. You kind of know that's going to happen. But this is a 3-parter. We've got episode 2, which in some ways means we miss the initial drama of episode 1 and the hook, and we miss all the payoff of episode 3. We've kind of got, like a movie, Act 2, the quiet, boring bit before anything really.
Yeah.
This is like the lot of dialogue.
We've sort of got the filling.
A lot of filler.
The,
I kind of found it a bit hard to gauge how much I liked it, I think. So I've been struggling a lot with episodes of how to rate this episode with an IMDb. I still don't know what I'm going to rate it. I might pass over to you first.
Yeah. No, for myself, I mean, I really enjoyed the episode as a standalone. Episode, which is what it is. But for myself, I have even less context because I've only watched a couple of episodes of season 1 of Enterprise. I'm more of a currently pure TNG, Voyager, DS9 enthusiast. But I'm obviously enjoying this branch out to other seasons, series, I should say. For myself, I did enjoy it. I need to know the characters a bit better. Then I could feel more maybe emotionally involved.
Yeah, like that Ambassador Savol, he comes up a bunch, right?
Yeah.
He's really good, yeah.
But I'm actually going to give this episode quite a low score. A 6.5.
6.5.
I'm going to give this, yeah. And that's just because of, purely from my point of view, how I felt about the episode. But a lot of it was backstory I'd missed out and things. So for myself, maybe unfairly, but 6.5.
6.5, that's fine. I think I'm going to go 7.2. And I think that's lower than it deserves. And I think if we had watched all 3 episodes...
Oh, yeah.
It might be more towards the 8. I'm not too sure. 'Cause I think it's really good, but I think I'm just missing so much context. I kind of can't give it any higher than that.
Yeah.
Before I check the actual IMDb rating, a question for you is, if we get another 3-part thing, would you rather watch just the 1 episode, or would you rather watch all 3? Because watching 3 episodes of Star Trek and forming opinions, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's quite a task to do.
But we'd watch all 3 and then only focus on possibly 1. It's
I feel like...
you think we should focus on the whole 3?
When we done like the 2-part with DS9,
I guess we
rated them both individually.
I think we could do it. I think we could do if it's a 3-parter.
Maybe we could try. We'd sort of experiment. We've done now just watching 1 episode. Next time we'll try all 3. I don't know how many 3-parters there are in Star Trek.
No, but I'm sure we'll find another one.
If it happens, yeah. Okay, let me quickly find the IMDb rating. Oh, okay, cool. So, Star Trek Enterprise Awakening from Season 4, Episode 8 gets an 8 on the nose.
Does it?
It does. Which, that sort of confirms my suspicions that Episode 1, Episode 3 are really good.
Yeah.
And as a whole, as a story arc, as a combined little story, it's a really good little story arc they got going on there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
An 8.
Yeah, maybe watching all 3 back in succession
would have been better. We're here. We have arrived at the end for episode selection. Now, just to remind our listeners at home, we'll be taking out Enterprise for the running for this selection, but we'll be bringing back in Lower Decks, which was out of the running for last time. If we do get Lower Decks again, that's great. But then that'll be it for the rest of the season. We can have no more Lower Decks. It'll be permanently gone for this run of 10 episodes. Anyway, so we have 13 things to choose from. Tom is going to click a thing to do a thing, and we're going to get...
Okay, I'm now going to randomise 11.
11.
Now, 11 on my list is... What do you hope?
I wouldn't mind watching a bit of Prodigy. As I said, I've been really enjoying watching season 1, and while watching it, there's been a few episodes I've been like, oh, I'd really like to talk about that with you on the podcast. So yeah, Prodigy.
So I can tell you it's not Prodigy.
It is not Prodigy, damn it.
It is a good old-fashioned toss. So
Is
we
it
actually
really?
have our first toss episode.
I'm so happy.
Which will be... I'm also looking forward to.
That's amazing.
So...
this has been a great start of the season. We had Lower Decks, Enterprise, we're now going to the
nice
original
mix
series.
of different ones, yeah. So that was number 11 on our list.
Fantastic.
So if I remember correctly, there are 3
There are 3 seasons, yes.
So if I now randomise the 1 and 3, or 1, 2, 3, I should say, number, what season would you hope for?
I don't think I have a preference, actually. I think I know season 3 is, I think it's a lot shorter than the other 2.
We have season 3.
Season 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with Star Trek original series to know what episodes are where. I know there are some good episodes and some really bad episodes.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get a good one, obviously.
24.
24. Way more than I thought. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's not shorter than the rest. Okay, 1 to 24. Give it to me.
Okay. Number 5.
Oh, number 5. Episode 5. Let's find an episode name.
Is there in truth no beauty?
We're winning, Tom.
Yeah.
We are winning.
Good episode.
This is the episode with the Medusan. Medusa.
Yeah.
Yes, give us the synopsis.
So the Enterprise provides transport for an alien ambassador and his companion, a human telepath trained in Vulcan mind techniques.
No, that's a bad synopsis. A beautiful woman escorts an alien ambassador so hideously ugly that the sight of him can drive a human insane. Yes, he's basically a ball of light. And if you look at him, you go insane.
Huh?
Except Spock, he wears like a really stupid red visor, and he can look at him.
Yeah.
And this brings us actually back to Prodigy. You remember in Prodigy, there was the character Zero.
Yeah.
He's in like a ball, and he's like a little glowy light thing. He's a Medusan. He's one of those.
Right.
I'm so happy. Yes. Okay.
Look forward
Great.
to it.
Fantastic. Everyone, if you're one of the people who listen to our podcast and don't watch the episode along with us, especially if you've never watched original series, go and watch it. You'll do yourself a treat. Well, I say that. I don't actually know if it's actually a good episode of Star Trek. I think it is. It's an iconic episode of Star Trek, if nothing else. It might be bad, but it's good. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can tell.
I look forward to it. It's our first original series one, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, we've been getting some really, loving this. Thank you for listening into Warp Factor Unknown. I've been your host, Dan, and I've been joined by my co-host, Tom.
Pleasure to be here.
Today we talked about the episode Awakening from Enterprise Season 4, Episode 8. Please join us next time as we take another deep dive into the Star Trek universe, and we discuss the Star Trek original series episodes In Beauty There Is No Truth? No, Dan, was it In Truth?
In Truth There Is No Beauty.
In Truth, There Is No Beauty from Season 3, Episode 5. Pretty excited for that. So until then, thank you for your continued support. If you would like to contact us, please email us on warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. That again is warpfactorunknown@outlook.com. The music we use for this podcast is called Starfleet Command by Jeff Harvey, and you can find more of his work on pixabay.com.